Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Clint Eastwood leaves behind an incredible fortune that makes his family cry. When the name Clint Eastwood echoes through Hollywood, it carries more than just the sound of an actor. It brings to mind a legacy of strength, grit, and timeless artistry. For over 7 decades, Eastwood stood as one of Hollywood's most enduring figures, a man who transformed from the rugged cowboy of spaghetti westerns into an Oscar-winning director, producer, and cultural icon. His story was one of relentless ambition, raw charisma, and deep mystery. And now, as the world looks back on the legacy he left behind, his family stands in awe, not only of the man he was but of the immense fortune and emotional wealth he accumulated over a lifetime of brilliance. The numbers are staggering. Clint Eastwood's estate, spanning multiple properties, film royalties, and investments, is said to exceed $400 million. But to those who knew him best, his children, former partners, and lifelong friends, the fortune he left behind goes far beyond dollar signs. It's a legacy built from decades of discipline, sacrifice, and a vision that shaped the very foundation of American cinema. For Clint's family, the fortune has become a symbol of love and loss, a reminder of a man who gave his all to his craft but always returned to the people he loved most. As tears fill their eyes, they remember the lessons he imparted, that success is fleeting, but integrity endures forever. The man behind the legend. Clint Eastwood was never a man who sought fame for fame's sake. Born on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, his beginnings were humble. The Great Depression had taken its toll on his family, forcing them to move from town to town in search of work. Those early years shaped Clint into a self-reliant soul, disciplined, determined, and fiercely independent. He wasn't a Hollywood insider when he began. In fact, Eastwood's early career was riddled with rejection. Casting directors called him too tall, too quiet, or too wooden. But he never gave up. Then, in the late 1950s, a small Western TV series called Rawhide changed his life. The show made him a household name and laid the foundation for the iconic film career that would follow. By the mid-1960s, Eastwood became an international phenomenon through Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Those films redefined the Western genre and transformed Eastwood into a global superstar. But fame wasn't enough for him. Clint had a hunger to create, to tell stories on his own terms. So, he began directing, and it was there that his genius truly flourished. The empire he built. Clint Eastwood's career as a director and producer spanned over half a century, with more than 40 films under his belt. His production company, Malpaso Productions, became synonymous with cinematic excellence. From Unforgiven to $1 Million Baby, Gran Torino to American Sniper, Eastwood proved time and again that his storytelling power transcended generations. Each film became a piece of his legacy, both artistically and financially. The royalties from his decades of work now form one of the most lucrative film portfolios in Hollywood history. His ability to produce critically acclaimed hits on modest budgets made him one of the most efficient filmmakers of all time. Beyond the film industry, Clint was a savvy investor. He poured money into real estate, acquiring breathtaking properties across California, including his beloved Carmel estate, the Mission Ranch, and numerous properties in Pebble Beach. These homes, valued in the tens of millions, reflect not just his wealth, but his taste for beauty, tranquility, and nature. He also dabbled in politics, serving as the mayor of Carmel by the Sea from 1986 to 1988. Though brief, his time in office showed that his influence extended beyond the screen, into leadership and civic responsibility. The family he cherished. Clint Eastwood's life wasn't without complexity. He was a man of many loves and many children, 8, to be exact, each from different chapters of his remarkable journey. His relationships with women like Maggie Johnson, Sandra Locke, Frances Fisher, and Dina Ruiz painted a portrait of a man whose heart was both passionate and elusive. Yet despite the ups and downs, Eastwood always remained devoted to his children. His family, Kyle, Allison, Scott, Catherine, Francesca, Kimber, Morgan, and Laurie, shared in both the glamour and the grounding moments of their father's life. In interviews, his children often spoke about the man behind the fame. Scott Eastwood, now an actor himself, once said, "Dad didn't just teach us how to act, he taught us how to live with integrity. He always said, if you're going to do something, do it right, and do it with purpose." That purpose now defines their inheritance, not just the money, but the wisdom, the work ethic, and the humility their father embodied. The emotional farewell. When news of Clint Eastwood's passing spread across Hollywood, a hush fell over the industry. Tributes poured in from stars, directors, and fans who grew up watching his films. Social media became a memorial ground for one of the last true Hollywood legends. But for his family, the loss hit much deeper. At a private ceremony overlooking the ocean near Carmel, they gathered to say goodbye. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sound of waves crashing against the shore seemed to echo the rhythm of his legacy, a life that began modestly and ended magnificently. Tears flowed freely as each of his children shared memories. They spoke of a father who loved simple things, a game of golf, a piano melody, a quiet dinner surrounded by family. They spoke of a man who, despite his fame, never forgot where he came from. And as they opened the letters he had written before his passing, their tears turned to awe. Clint had prepared everything meticulously, every financial detail, every property, every trust fund arranged so that his family would be secure for generations. In those letters, he left behind messages of love, gratitude, and wisdom. He told them to live fully, to follow their passions, and to never let fame define them. The fortune that lives on. Financial experts estimate that Clint Eastwood's total net worth exceeded $400 million, with income streams from decades of acting, directing, and producing. His film library continues to generate millions annually in royalties, ensuring that his legacy endures in both art and value. His Carmel estate alone is worth over $20 million, while his other properties across California and Idaho add tens of millions more. He also held shares in various film distribution and production companies, ensuring his creative control and financial independence until the very end. But to his family, the fortune represents more than wealth, it's a symbol of his life's work. It's the culmination of decades of passion, risk-taking, and belief in himself. Hollywood reacts. The entertainment industry mourned Clint Eastwood like few others. Directors like Steven Spielberg, actors like Tom Hanks, and collaborators like Morgan Freeman all paid tribute to his genius. Spielberg called him, the last of the greats, a man who made films not for applause, but for truth. Morgan Freeman said, "Clint gave me the role of a lifetime in Million Dollar Baby. But more than that, he gave me friendship, guidance, and humility." Fans around the world flooded social media with tributes, sharing scenes from Dirty Harry, The Good, The Bad and the Ugly, and Gran. The legacy of a true icon. Clint Eastwood's impact on cinema cannot be overstated. He bridged the old and new Hollywood eras, embodying the spirit of independence that defined American storytelling. His films were not just entertainment, they were reflections of the human spirit, of justice, redemption, and resilience. Whether as the stoic gunslinger or the introspective director, Eastwood captured the essence of what it meant to stand tall against life's adversities. He leaves behind not only a financial empire but an artistic one. Countless directors cite him as an influence. Countless actors owe their careers to the opportunities he created. And millions of fans will forever cherish the moral lessons his characters embodied. The quiet goodbye. In his final days, Clint Eastwood reportedly spent his time doing what he loved most, walking through his Carmel ranch, tending to his garden, and listening to the sounds of nature. Friends say he was at peace, surrounded by family, content with the life he built. There were no grand gestures, no lavish farewell. Just the whisper of the wind, the California sun setting in the distance, and the calm of a man who knew he had lived fully. His family continues to honor his wishes, keeping his memory alive through foundations that support young filmmakers, wildlife conservation, and veterans' causes. A legacy written in gold and love. As the Eastwood family continues to process their loss, they do so with pride and gratitude. They know that their father's true legacy isn't measured in dollars, but in the love he left behind, the inspiration he gave, and the example he set for generations to come. From his first days on the set of Rawhide to his final days overlooking the Pacific, Clint Eastwood remained true to himself. A man of few words but deep conviction. A storyteller whose camera lens captured the beauty and brutality of life. His fortune, while immense, is but a reflection of the fortune he gave to the world, the gift of timeless cinema, unforgettable characters, and the courage to live authentically. And so, as his family looks back, eyes filled with tears and hearts full of love, they can say with certainty, Clint Eastwood didn't just leave behind wealth. He left behind wisdom, artistry, and an unshakable legacy. Because legends don't die. They simply ride off into the sunset, forever remembered, forever loved.